How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Set 6, and today we're getting back to our breakdown of The First Soldier, and, we've done Chapter 1 and 2, so it's Chapter 3 time. We're getting there. There's still a couple more that I need to catch up on. I think we're up to Chapter 5 at the minute in the actual game, but we're going to jump straight into it, so don't forget, drop a like on the video, subscribe for future content. We've got all the theory videos, we've got all the news videos, now we've got these. I'm going to start doing more of some other stuff that I did as well, like I did an Octopath Traveler 2 8 beginner tips video, like earlier on this year. That's just been getting views constantly. It's up to like 8,000 views now, something like that. So people obviously appreciate them, so I'm probably going to start doing a few more of them, so keep an eye out for that. But let's get on with it. So first off, we'll quickly break down Chapter 2 again. So Chapter 2, we found ourselves on the island. We were constantly getting attacked by Balwar. I'm so glad that we've left that island and there's no more Balwars to find. But we also met Rosen, who was like a young lad who's taken up the role of the Eyes of Rador. And that job is basically to live in solitude on this island and just watch the ocean for signs of a mana torrent. And if he sees signs of a mana torrent, to warn the islands, because a mana torrent is something that will just come along and kill everybody. It's a tsunami of Mako energy, basically. So, yeah, it's not a good time. So he lives on this island and he's there as an early warning system. And the party get a little bit connected to him, but Glenn especially gets a bit connected to him. Kind of feels that, he reminds him of himself a lot when he was younger. But we've got a mission to do, so we help him out a little bit, we get the boat, and we start heading to the main island on the boat. And that is where we're going to pick back up in Chapter 3, crossing the Rador archipelago by boat, and heading towards what we believe is the main island, because Rosen was quite insistent that, yeah, just head south. So we're trusting the boy, we're heading south, and we're heading to the main island. And the chapter opens with Glenn deep in thought about Rosen, and about the life that he has to lead on the island with. The party try to kind of point out that it's just a different way of life, it's not the same as their way of life, and I'm sure that their way of life would look weird to the others, but Glenn can't really shake it. Rosen's definitely wormed his way into Glenn's brain, and this is, again, showing that empathetic side of Glenn. And we're going to keep seeing it. We're going to keep on seeing it. And on top of all of this, we're also being chased by the monster that was on the previous island. So, yeah, it's not going the best. That monster attacks us, and we eventually wash up on the coastline of the main island, with Matt suggesting that we are finally in the right place. Like, this looks like the right place to Matt. So if Matt says that it's good, Matt says that it's good. So, we've escaped the island of the Balwar, we've made it. We've escaped the overly driven sea monster that was chasing us across the water. So we start heading off, and oh my god, it's the Balwar again. I feel like there needs to be a purge, a cleansing of some sort, and I think that Team Glenn's mission should change now from being a survey team to just killing all the Balwar. I think that's what we should do. We should just get rid of them, because they're everywhere. They have infested this whole place, and I'm sick of the sight of them. I am absolutely sick of the sight of them. Now, Matt suggests it's because they're allowed to roam freely as kind of a free security system. If they're wandering around the island, then they're going to deal with any trespassers. So, it's kind of like free security. That's what it is, it's free security. And you know what? I think he could be right. I feel like he could be right. The group continue, they climb up Mount Sunsin on their journey to the Logue's Ruins, which is the location that, we're meant to survey. And Matt reveals that he's collecting data on the Balwar for the bestiary, so he's pretty pleased with the number of them that we keep encountering, and he is the only one, until Glenn seems to suggest that there's a bonus that they're going to get for this, and no one kind of says no, so Glenn just gets excited, and yeah, now he's all in. We're going to research some Balwar. That's the mission now. We're going to look into him, we're going to find out everything that we can for him, and we're going to get a cash bonus. Now the group do their best Sir David Attenborough impressions, lurking in the bushes, and now we see the Balwar. It doesn't work out because Glenn's far too loud for this business, and he ends up attracting the attention while also proving that he's just interested in a bonus, and not really that interested in helping Matt out. So, bad times for Glenn. Bad times. After killing a few more Balwar, the group continue to head inland, but as we get deeper into enemy territory, Matt and Lucia try to drive home the importance of being careful now. But Glenn's stuck thinking about Rosen and changes the subject over to that, and they all talk about how loneliness is a horrible thing and that it must be really bad for Rosen being entirely alone. Like, even like Lucia says that she feels alone when she's got all the cadets around her because she can't really speak her mind to them. But she's not alone. She could at least try to speak to them if she wanted to, whereas Rosen's got nobody. So, yeah, the group are feeling a bit sad for Rosen, and they decide that once the mission's done, they're going to go and see Rosen. And I swear down, if we end up with a dead Rosen, and that's the thing that sends Glenn on a mad Rador vengeance spiral, I'm going to be upset. Rosen doesn't deserve to be treated like this. Rosen's a good boy. Leave him alone. Now, the group finally arrive at the Logue's ruins, undetected by any Rador remnant soldiers, or at least as far as we know, they've not been detected. Now, they decide to set up a base of operations where they can commence their survey mission, and they end up camping in a cave, which Lucy is not the biggest fan of, but once we get into the cave and we get a good look at the ruins, it becomes quite clear that these are ancient ruins. Like 100% clear that these are definitely ancient ruins. If they're not, I'll be amazed. I'm hoping that in the next few chapters that we're going to get to explore these ruins a little bit more and maybe get some ancient lore out of the first soldier. I feel like that'd be good. It would kind of justify me playing it. I'd feel better about having played it. So fingers crossed we get something like that. The group rest up and then we head into the ruins proper. And Glenn asks Matt if we should expect to see any Radoran troops. And Matt says that it's been about a decade since the operation against Rador, with survivors numbering between 500 and 1,000. Oof. And that means that we may encounter resistance. You know, we're going to struggle against that many troops if that's what we bump into. But there's nothing left to talk about, so the group dive into the Logue's ruins and we begin to explore. We do a little bit of pressure plate puzzling and, you know, hunting around, finding chests, fighting monsters, all that sort of business. And Matt points out that a lot of the monsters here are completely unfamiliar. I'd guess that's because of the high concentration of Mako in the area. We also get Lucia pointing out that apparently they prioritised interpersonal relationships rather than skills when putting the groups together, with Matt adding that camaraderie can make up a lot of the skill gap, if not surpass a skill gap. You know, knowing how the team works, kind of that psychic connection that people can get sometimes where they just know what someone's going to do. That sort of thing can make up a lot. And you're less likely to abandon someone who's a friend of yours, whereas if it's someone who's not a friend, you might bail on them. There's a lot of good reasons for it. There's a lot of solid reasons for it. But we continue delving, and we keep looking for a good spot for a Mako reactor. So they keep whipping out this case, and it keeps scanning for the concentration of Mako in the area, in the ground, in the air, that kind of thing. And eventually, we do find a spot that would be a candidate. Now, this makes everyone pretty happy because, you know, they're going to get paid probably. But we decide to check out one more location that we had to check. We head over, we check that one out. It's a bit of a bust, there's nothing good there. But you can see the chimney in the distance and the white smoke and everything like that. So the group, once again, has a little bit of a, oh, Rosen kind of moment. I wonder if he's okay. I wonder if he's thinking of us. Which is quickly broken up by a chopper flying in and firing at the party. So, bad times. We've been spotted by the Radorans. Absolutely bad times. So the group head back to the candidate reactor site that they'd already discovered. They send the coordinates after defeating like a Radoran mech, but then they quickly end up pinned down, under heavy fire, and in trouble. So Glenn suggests that the group splits up, fans out, goes their own routes, and gets back to the camp, which everyone successfully manages. And once they get back to camp, the chopper disappears, with Matt speculating that it probably ran out of fuel or ammunition, and he also points out that it was very old, and he's very surprised that they got it off the ground, which further suggests that the Radoran army are using barely functional equipment in order to defend their land against the Shinra. Lucia also questions whether or not the signal got through, because the device that we used to send the signal got destroyed quite quickly after we set it up, but Matt reassures her that the signal will have gone through. There was enough time, the signal was sent. So, they decide that they're going to change into their Shinra uniform, and they're going to go out and secure the site as best they can. But just before they head out, they get hit with some sort of mortar, it looks like. Ruins the little campsite that they've got, and in fairness, only misses them by a little bit, could have ended up taking them out of the game. But Glenn's not playing that, Glenn's not interested in that, and he states that he's got no interest in dying on this island. And the chapter ends. So, quite a fun chapter. We found a pretty cool spot. We definitely need to get more exploration of these ruins, because there's gonna be some lore that comes out of them, or at least I'm hoping that there is. We don't have many examples of ancient ruins in the world of Final Fantasy VII. A lot of it's been destroyed over the years. This one's almost certainly going to be destroyed because Shinra want to put a reactor there, so yeah, that's not going to go well. So any information we can get out of there, we need to get out of there ASAP. Also, again, a big focus on Glenn and his connection with Rosen and how he's concerned about him, etc. I'm worried that they might hurt Rosen at some point. I really hope the boy doesn't get killed. I get the feeling that one of these chapters we're going to look at that chimney and there's going to be no smoke and Glenn's just going to absolutely flip. Go full Super Saiyan, fly over to... No, wrong franchise, but you know what I mean. He's not going to be happy about it. So, yeah, I'm worried for Rosen. I'm scared for Rosen. Poor kid. Poor kid. What about Rifu? If anything happens to Rosen, what happens to Rifu? Anyway, on that horrifying note, I think we're going to end this one. Let me know what you thought of the chapter, you know, how are you finding the story so far? I'm finding it mildly interesting. It's reasonably interesting. There's some pretty cool stuff. I'm hoping we get more with this, like I say, these ancient ruins. I can't wait for Sephiroth to be involved. I'm pretty sure Sephiroth gets involved next chapter. So, that's going to be a fun time. I'm also going to do a video about some of the events that they've done recently, because they've done 2 events recently that have used something called a portal materia. And I'm almost certain that it's just going to be a gimmicky thing that they use in Forever Crisis. But they're establishing details about it that, while they work Forever Crisis in the perspective of you don't want the characters to remember what's happening in these weird little monthly events, you want them to go back to their game and carry on. That makes sense. But what if it's more? I'm possibly going to do a video on that. Keep an eye out for that one. But yeah, thank you very much for watching the video. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe, share the video with people who might not be playing Ever Crisis, who want to catch up with the story and stuff like that. Let people know what's going on. But more importantly than anything, have a great day.